We're here on like day 100 and God only knows of the quarantine, and excited to be doing something different.
I'm Ami. I'm 11 years old. I'm going into the 6th grade and I have dyslexia and ADHD. Hi, I'm Isla. I'm also 11 years old and I'm also going into the 6th grade and I have dyslexia and ADHD too.
Hi, my name's Kalani. I'm 17. I have ADHD and I'm a current senior in my high school.
I'm Karina and I am the mom. It's been rough, my parents live about 15 minutes away in the Bronx, and usually we saw them at least 2-3 times a week, and every Friday for Friday night dinner at my mom's house. The kids are missing that terribly. For the first 3 months, I would say we didn't see them at all, except through the window if we drove by to say hi. So we're just beginning to sort of see how much we can connect with them without just hanging out the way we used to.
And with Dad.
And with their dad too. So their dad is an emergency room social worker at a hospital in the Bronx. Typically they were with him every other weekend. He also is immunocompromised. He has a condition. And when it first started, I told him I wasn't comfortable with the kids going anymore. And they started just doing daily FaceTimes, which they do every day anyway, especially Amelie. She pretty much lives on the phone with her dad. Probably about 2 weeks ago, I said, I need you to take the kids for the day. I need a break. It has been incredibly draining to be the only adult in charge all the time. And it was rough for me because I feared, like, God, what am I exposing them to? Or him, because of his health issues, and the girls play outside every day with our neighbors. But I also needed to balance, like, mental health. I needed a break.
As a parent, it's one of those things where it's a little challenging because I'm a father, but I'm divorced and my kids aren't really with me. And so making the sacrifice of not really being able to see them for like 4.5, 5 months was very challenging. You guys have grown and I didn't get to experience it. It's hard. I'd rather make sure that you guys are safe and not see you guys than have it affected,
I've just been so grateful for the fact that we have been healthy, the fact that we have the technology that we do to be able to stay in contact with my mom and my dad and my sister, who is my best friend. So just connecting with other adults who you love and who are supportive of you, I think, is important in keeping your sanity a bit. Taking it easy on the kids. I try to be very scheduled, like we have dinner at the same time every day. Every morning they have the same expectation in terms of fixing their bed and getting dressed. I had to sort of be able to let go a little bit of that because the schedule didn't exist anymore. They didn't have to leave to school. They didn't have any softball games to be at or basketball games to be at. And so I had to just lay back a little bit and not be as uptight as I can sometimes be. I had to understand that the kids needed space between themselves. They're siblings and they're all close, but it's a lot to be in such close quarters constantly. Once the weather started getting nice, to give the kids an opportunity to run, to jump roped. We bought colored chalk and just draw on the ground outside.
I play outside a lot of the time with like my neighbors and stuff. Well, sometimes I'm very hyper and it's harder for me to concentrate. I love you. When are you coming back?
I'll get to like in an hour.
Okay.
Giving yourself some time and doing a 21-day boot camp. And I've told the kids, they often say, can I go with you, Mom? In the morning they want to walk with me into town, which I think is lovely and it's good for them physically, but I stuck to it and I said, no, sorry guys, this is mom time just for me. It's the only hour a day that I have that's only about me. Parents need that, I think. So even if as a single mom, I especially needed that because I didn't have any other person to just talk to or vent to. So I think it's really important to give pay attention to self-care and to feed yourself as well as the kids.
You have to think of it from the kids' perspective. Like, imagine just one day, literally going to school and the next day you're in quarantine and everything is different. You have to wear masks. You're not allowed to see your friends like you used to.
I'm impressed with how you guys have done, given how drastically the world changed from one day to another.
Literally.
I know it's hard for adults, but I can imagine how hard it's been for you guys. You guys have done a good job.
It's definitely been very hard, but I feel like we've gotten closer because of quarantine.
I have learned how to be a little bit more patient and just like live in the moment. And I've learned how to be grateful for the things that you have, because it can be taken away like that.
I am hopeful for some sense of normalcy. I don't think we'll ever get back to what we thought was normal, and I hope not, because I feel like what the world was like right before all this happened was not a world I necessarily want to return to. But I hope we can take some of the lessons we've learned during quarantine and use them to make it a better place, and I'm just looking forward to that aspect of normal.